Why is everyone suddenly talking about Claude instead of ChatGPT? Like seriously, a few months ago, barely anyone mentioned it. And now, developers are switching, companies are switching, even designers and creators are starting to use it for real work. At first, I honestly thought it was just hype, another AI tool, another trend. But then I started looking into the features Claude's been releasing lately, and yeah, some of this stuff genuinely feels insane. Like we're slowly moving from AI chatbots to actual AI coworkers. And honestly, I don't think most people realize how big this shift actually is. So in this video, I'll show you the craziest Claude features released so far, step by step. And trust me, some of these feel straight out of the future. So let's start with Excel, and I know that sounds boring at first, but wait till you actually see this. Imagine opening a spreadsheet with thousands of rows of sales data, regions, products, revenue, dates. Normally, you'd spend forever building pivot tables and charts manually. But now you can literally just type, create a pivot table showing total revenue by region and product, and Claude builds the whole thing automatically. Then you can say, create a chart from this pivot table. Done. Change it into a stacked bar chart. Done again. And honestly, the weird part is how natural it feels. It doesn't feel like using software anymore. It feels like you're talking to someone. And that's the moment I realized Claude's not trying to become a better chatbot, it's trying to become a better coworker. That's the moment where this stops feeling like AI assistance and starts feeling like automation on another level. And speaking of presentations, Claude can now work directly inside PowerPoint too. Hi Claude, create a 10-slide deck assessing the fintech industry. Look, it created it. It actually understands your slide layouts, fonts, branding and colors. So instead of manually rebuilding slides, you can just say, combine slides 4 and 5 into one executive summary slide, and it reorganizes everything while matching the presentation style. One conversation across Excel and PowerPoint. So now Claude can analyze spreadsheets, understand financial assumptions, and build presentations at the same time. For example, someone looked at a financial model and said, that profit margin assumption looks kinda too high. What did Acme actually say on the call? And Claude connects the spreadsheet data, meeting context, and presentation workflow together automatically. Honestly, corporate teams are going to save ridiculous amounts of time with this stuff. But now let's talk about the feature that genuinely feels futuristic, Claude Cowork. This basically lets you run multiple AI agents at the same time, and this completely changes how people think about AI. So instead of one chatbot doing everything, you can create separate AI workers. One researching AI news, one tracking sports updates, one summarizing Slack channels, another generating reports, and all of them work simultaneously. At this point, it honestly stops feeling like chatting with AI. It feels like managing a digital team, and somehow Claude still kept going. Now it can remotely control workflows from your phone. Imagine leaving your house and suddenly remembering, oh no, my presentation's still on my laptop. Now you can literally tell Claude, export my pitch deck as a PDF and attach it to my meeting invite. And it handles the task remotely. And then there's the Blender integration. And honestly, this one's crazy for 3D artists and creators. Because if you've ever used Blender before, you already know how repetitive some tasks can get. Like selecting objects one by one, copying materials, cleaning scenes manually. It gets annoying fast. But now you can literally tell Claude, find the object named rock textured and apply the same material to all rock objects in the scene. And it does the whole thing automatically. You can even clean up scenes using simple instructions like delete all unnecessary curve objects except the volume objects. And Claude handles it for you, which honestly saves a ridiculous amount of time for larger projects. And what's interesting is that you don't need to memorize complicated menus or workflows anymore. You just describe what you want. And then there's Autodesk Fusion integration. This one's huge for engineers, product designers, and CAD workflows. For example, someone was designing a keyboard, and instead of manually adjusting every component, they just asked Claude, arrange the keys properly on the keyboard, then create an exploded view, and Claude reorganized the entire assembly automatically. You can even focus on specific parts by saying things like hide all components except the bottom casing, and it isolates the exact section instantly. But then Claude started moving beyond spreadsheets and presentations. Now it's entering design workflows too. One of the most interesting examples is Figma Make. And honestly, this changes who can build software. Because normally, turning an idea into a real prototype takes designers, developers, and a lot of back and forth. But now you can literally describe what you want. Hi Claude, create an analog clock with a 1 pixel border that tells the local time. And it generates the interface and working code automatically. Or you can say, create a simple markdown app for taking notes, add some mock content. And within seconds, you've got a working prototype. And honestly, that's the part that feels different. Because design has always been about taste, creativity, and conveying a feeling. But now AI is helping people turn ideas into actual products way faster than before. But then Anthropic introduced something even more futuristic. Claude Design. This one honestly feels like something out of a sci-fi movie. You can literally describe interactive visuals using normal language. For example, create a dark-themed interactive globe showing how culture flows between cities. A rotating globe, cities connected by glowing paths, interactive controls, different visual breakpoints, and Claude builds the experience dynamically. And that's where things start getting really interesting. Because now AI isn't just generating text, it's generating experiences. And then Claude introduced something that honestly feels incredibly powerful for business workflows. This is where AI stops feeling like separate tools. It starts feeling like one connected, intelligent workspace. And finally, this Claude code review. If you're a developer, you already know how annoying debugging and reviewing code can get. But now you can literally tell Claude, filter out sessions that start with API error from the resume command results. Meaning users won't accidentally reopen failed sessions. And after updating the logic, create PR. And Claude generates the pull request automatically. And honestly, that's where things start feeling different. Because AI is no longer just generating text. It's starting to understand actual creative and engineering workflows. And when you step back and look at everything together, Excel, PowerPoint, AI agents, remote workflows, code review, 3D software, automation, you start realizing something. Claude isn't trying to become a smarter chatbot. It's trying to become an AI workspace. And honestly, I think this is only the beginning. Because once AI starts connecting all these tools together, the way people work is probably going to change completely. Anyway, let me know which feature surprised you the most. And if you want more videos like this, subscribe. Because AI is moving way faster than most people realize.